The first one will be the previous
Well,
year.
let's go simple. Say you turn 70 in September of this year, okay?
October, November, December, January, February, March.
Okay.
So March of 2020, that's the year you turn 70 and a half.
So you don't have to take your deduction till,
Following.
April 1st of 2021. Now you can take it in 2020, and most people do, unless you have some sort of income reason that you may want to. And there are reasons why, right? And that reason is a reason why people come in and have a meeting with us. They say, hey, I have to take my RMD, what should I do? And we can help them troubleshoot and go through it. Yeah, that's actually a common reason why people come and talk to us. Okay. So, I know what you're saying. You're saying, great, I got it. I know how to calculate my RMD. I'm all set, James, perfect, right? Okay. There are some gotchas out there. All right, and one of the gotchas is are annuities, right? So annuities come in all different various shapes and sizes. And something that we see often, and I'm gonna pop it up here, if, let's just say you have $1 million IRA, and someone says, okay, I know my RMD is gonna be about 3.6%. In the first year, I have to take out $36,000. So I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna take half my money, and I'm gonna put it in what's called an immediate annuity. Right? I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, but basically you give all your money to an insurance company and they pay you a certain amount of money for the rest of your life. Right? It's guaranteed. Well, the federal government doesn't like you fooling around like that. So if you do that, your immediate annuity of $500,000 paying $35,000 is taxable. Plus you have your other $500,000, which has $18,000, and that's taxable as well. And now you're paying taxes on $53,000 when you only would have been paying taxes on $36,000. Okay? So there's lots of gotchas out there. Just be careful. And we have had people come into our office with this set up. You know, oh, I went to someone and he set this up and said, it doesn't work that way, right? And now you're a little stuck. All right, so be careful with annuities. Okay, so I've been talking about IRAs. Go shoot.
Annuities, suppose your plan has annuity already built into your, like a 403B. You already had it built in, so over your working career, there was money going into annuity.
That's not going to be a SPIA, and it's part of your greater 4 plan, which is like a perfect transition to talk about 4 plans, right? Sorry about that. The annuity within your 4 plan is not going to be a SPIA, right? And it's probably like a fixed annuity or something along those lines. I'd have to see what it is to tell you how it affects and what can be done with it, right? If there is any reason to do with it, it may be perfect and you leave it, So 401ks, 403bs, 457, right? A lot of people probably have that. Where's my teacher? Teacher, right? Didn't you see?
No, not a teacher. No, just a lot of education.
A lot of education, okay. Well, your 4 plans are going to work the same way. Okay, it's the same idea. It's tax deferred income that's been growing. Government still wants their money from it, right? But we said if you have that $1 million, right? And let's say you have 4 plans from 3 different companies you were in, and 3 IRAs that you had created, and your total RMD has got to be $36,000, right? And you say, I'll just take it all from IRA number 1, right? And then sure enough, federal government will come back and say, hey, you didn't take your $18,000 from your 4 plans. because 401k plans and 403bs are separate from IRAs, right? You can't take it from one pot and have it applied to the other. Now, if you have two different 403 plans right here, you could take all 18,000 from one of them, and that'll apply to any of the fours. And on the IRA side, you can do the same thing, but they can't cross, right? Can't cross. So you gotta take your IRA RMD from IRAs and your 4 plan from your 4 plans, which is a reason why people come to see us. Because they leave their company and they have this 4 plan, and they say, hey, what should I do with this, right? And we help them roll it into a self-directed IRA, which is usually the suggested thing to do. You have a lot more options and investment options and what you can do with it. All right, taxation. Everything's taxable, right? Everything's taxable. Went in there before taxes, it grew tax deferred, and every dime that comes out is going to be taxed. All right, it's not a capital gains. Capital gains would be, something that would be outside of a retirement account. There are some exceptions to this, and this is if you overstuff your IRA with taxed dollars. So that you could put more money into an IRA or a 4 plan, and the interest will grow tax deferred, but the principal has already been taxed. And this is something that has to be determined, because then when you take the money out, there's a whole big calculation on what you get taxed. Just for argument's sake, if you had $500 that was pre-tax and $500 that was after tax, when you take your money out, you're only gonna be taxed by the government on half, right? And there's a way of figuring that out, and you usually need to make sure that the company that's doing it, that's reporting this out, as say, hey, this is how much you should be taxed, is doing it correctly. And we help people with that often.
So, question.
Yes.
So is there a separate RMD for the pre-tax and separate for the after-tax?
There is not. There is not. Yeah, it's in there, and whatever that balance is on December 31st, that's how they're gonna calculate the number. Yeah. That's the RMD. The tax on it will be different, right? Because it's potentially it's potentially dollars that are already taxed, and that's what you have to figure out. So what is the tax on your RMD? How does that get figured out, right? Well, your RMD gets taxed at what's called your marginal rate, right? And you go to your accountant or you do it yourself and you say, I pay a 17% tax rate, but here's your federal tax brackets in 2019. There's no 17 up there, right? Because you have a blended rate. And so the way the RMD works is on your second page of your return, you have your taxable income, and then whatever in my case, the $36,000 comes in. If your taxable income was, 80,000, we put the 36 in, it's gonna get taxed at 22%, okay? So you know exactly how much you're gonna owe on that RMD. It's gonna be at that marginal rate, the highest rate out there. It gets dumped right on top of all your other earnings. Okay. So taxes, right? What happens when you're around 65 to your income? Social Security. Oh, that'll mess up taxes, won't it? So now you get Social Security from 65 to 70, right? And you weren't taking any RMDs. Now all of a sudden, your income's going up, right? So your RMD could affect your Social Security. And this is something we speak to people about a lot as well. How does Social Security work? Half of your Social Security benefits are taxable. Let's just go with married. If your income is over 32,000, right? If it's over 44,000, $85%. There's enough. Thank you. All right. So if your RMD bumps you up, now all of a sudden your Social Security, which may have only been taxed at half, or was not taxed at all, is now gonna be taxed. So there's a lot of tax liability from the RMD. And a little asterisk there. Again, it doesn't mean that they're taking half your Social Security, it just means you're being taxed on it at that marginal rate. Yes?
To make it a little simpler, could you just give us an example? For instance, if you were making
Right
X
here,
amount of
right here, go back to this page,
Mhm.
right? If you're at $20,000.
Social Security, well, you're saying half your Social Security.
Right, well,
so your
here's
Social
the
Security
thing, right?
plus what you withdraw.
Let's just say you're single and your taxable income is $20,000. But now you have a $5,000 RMD that comes in, $6,000 RMD, right? Now, whatever your Social Security benefit is, half of it is gonna be taxed, here we go, at 12%. Whereas last year, it was at 0. Right, it depends on your income. Did I feel like it's still
So
money.
you get your total income from Social Security and your RMDs, and if you've worked or whatever, then you go to the chart and that tells you.
Whether you know what,
You're over
yeah.
25 as a single person.
Right.
You're over 25,000.
Yeah,
you're gonna get
yeah,
a
you
tax
got it. I
on
mean, really what you're gonna do is you're gonna have your income, and then you're gonna say, okay, what was my RMD? My RMD was this much, where does that bump me? And that sort of thing.
How about pensions in there?
Pension is income.
Yeah, pension.
Pension's
everything
income,
is-
yeah.
Yeah.
Income is income,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good, that's the-
So, no one likes paying taxes, but it is a part of life, and so we're trying to figure out ways to minimize that, you know, to reduce it. Trying to talk about Social Security. Okay. So this part, which is the fourth topic we're going to talk about, is are your assets allocated to start collecting RMDs, right? We have been, when we talk with people all the time, the number 2 fear is death. The number 1 fear is running out of money, right? And it's a real fear, right? People are living longer. So you need to invest for purpose in your retirement account, not performance. I'll say that again, right? In your retirement account, you need to invest for purpose and not for performance. You need to generate income, right? Not necessarily growth in a retirement account. So if you take, let's just say you have your retirement account and you have mutual funds in there, and you're taking all, now you have to start pulling money out. You have to start selling your mutual funds. And this can lead to a cancerous investment style, right? Something that I have in there, it's called reverse dollar cost averaging, right? Who's ever heard of reverse dollar cost averaging? That's good, because you have? No way. I thought I made it up. Well, you've heard of dollar cost averaging. Everyone kind of knows what that is. And I'll kind of go through this, right? You're working, you're a good investor, and you invest $100 from your paycheck. You buy a stock, you buy a mutual fund, it's $10 a share. How many shares did you buy?
10.
Perfect. Month 2 comes around, you're a good saver, you invest $100. The unthinkable has happened. It's now $5 a share. How many shares did you buy? 20. Perfect. This is an easy class, the test will be later, I promise. All right. What's the average price? $750. That is not the average price.
That's right.
$667, right? Because you bought more when it was cheaper, right? And this is what every trader dreams of: buying low and selling high, right? Now you only have $1.67 to get back to break even, okay? And if you keep doing this over time and you keep stuffing it consistently, buying more when it's low and less when it's high, you're going to be reducing your overall buy price, okay? That makes sense? Now we get to what you and I understand: reverse dollar cost averaging. It's a zero-sum game. The day you have to start taking the money out, this is all going to flip around. If you need to take $100 out to live on, and it's $10, well, you have to sell 10 shares. But if you need to take $100 out, and it's $5, and I say the unthinkable, and we all laugh, but it happened in 2002, and it happened in 2008. Now you got to sell on the bottom. You got to sell more shares, and you're going the wrong way, right? Now for you to get your principal back up to where it was, you need huge amounts of growth, right? See, we all know total return, right? Equals growth plus income. When you're investing dollar cost averaging, you're okay with growth. You want it to go up, right? But when you're pulling the money out, you don't want to be taking from your principal. You want to be taking from interest and dividends. Right? It's a philosophy change. There's an investment shift. So this kind of begs the question: should you have any money in the stock market when you're trying to pull the money out? Anyone? Anyone want to have money in the stock market when you're trying to pull it?